So I don't know. I don't know if this thing's even working. Let me see what's going on here. OBS was all jacked up. Yeah, I guess it's going. Okay, so I wanted to talk about something else with MAME compiling. Um, okay, so we like last time I talked about how there are pop messages and there are nag screens and different types of nags. But the other thing that occurred to me that we probably should be handling and removing on there are save state messages. And so let me just give you an example here. So let's say that you set up your system and you do like you create a save state to just jump straight into a game. Skip the ROM checks or the system check or whatever happens. See, like for example, if I start Samurai Showdown 2 here, see how I see that message state successfully loaded. And I mean, if you just launch the game from your cabinet like that, I mean, to me, that's kind of tacky. I think that's tacky. I don't think it looks good. I don't think it looks professional. I don't think it looks seamless. And so yet another thing, and I've included an updated build. If you look in the description, so I put in. This is in machine, in source emu machine. On this line basically where it shows the success message, I changed it so that it only shows a message when you actually save. So if you're saving a message, it'll say save state successfully saved, but if you're just loading it, it doesn't. And so you can see here when I load this one, see, just seamless, no message. See, it's way cleaner. It's way cleaner. Yeah, I don't want to see pop-ups. I don't want to see like weird MAME UI crap when I launch a game. It's not clean. So I think that's yet another thing that no nag builds probably should be including if you really want a completely clean and seamless experience where you really only have your front end and basically no MAME UI at all. Yeah, because really, I mean, it's just. I mean, those messages. I don't know. It's especially when you're loading one. I mean, it's going to be fairly obvious if a save state loaded. I mean, if you don't start at the beginning of the machine, I mean, it's like what else happened. Okay, so there's that. The other thing that I've been working on is yeah, I went through and I really cleaned up all the video stuff in Final Fight, and it's really nice now. There used to be an option called like integer scaling crop or something, and basically what I've done, I've just baked that in so it just happens automatically when you do integer scaling. So I guess I can comment it out to kind of show you why you would do that. I'm gonna go in here. Yeah, let me comment this out just so I can show you what will happen here. So the whole benefit to integer scaling essentially is that you have just evenly sized pixels across the board. It's kind of a trade-off. I mean, the problem with it is that you can't really do integer scaling without screwing up the aspect ratio. And you can't really do integer scaling without either underscanning or overscanning the image. And I hate it when a game image doesn't take up the whole screen. So I'm basically just overscanning it. But you can see what happens though in those scenarios. So with integer scaling enabled, basically the you can actually see how like the bottom of it's cut off because it really is kind of like zoomed in. It's kind of like an overscan, but all of these pixels are perfectly evenly sized. So that's kind of the trade-off there. But like the awesome feature that I did in this is see how the energy bars are cut off there. Well, so basically, like the awesome thing that I can do, with this is, because I basically know what the values are and what the calculations are, I can automatically, basically adjust the positioning of elements to get around the fact that they would be overscanned. So I basically know how many pixels I'm overscanning by. So I can basically just, recalculate the size of all the energy bars with that in mind, so that you not only get the integer scaling overscan, but you also get, visible energy bars. So you can see, how it looks there, where, basically the energy bars are pushed down and they're pushed to the left. So basically, so really these energy bars relative to the stage are actually, a little lower and farther over than they would be, normally. But I think it's a pretty good trade-off. I mean, you really don't want to have. You want to be able to see the energy bars basically. So yeah, I think it's a good trade-off to make. And so, yeah, and also, I'm probably going to go in and do some additional calculations for things like, intro and ending text and maybe other elements that would get, cut off when, you use integer scaling. But yeah, I went in though, and I really cleaned up this code and made it handle all of the scenarios, and yeah, it's pretty awesome now. Because like integer scaling, it even works when you adjust stuff. So like, because basically my end game for this stuff is what I have on the menu right now is I'm probably gonna get that LG 48-inch OLED screen, and I'm gonna have to mount it in the arcade cabinet in portrait mode, and so it's really been on my mind to be able to handle rotating the game. And so for example, so my desktop is 3840 by 1600, and so if I were to do a 4:3 aspect ratio on that, it would be like 2134 by 1600 or something like that. That would be like the 4:3 aspect ratio for that. And so if I do that and I do integer scaling, and then I run it, I'll not only get the energy bar overscan correction and the integer scaling, and I'll get the the rotation on the I also need to actually rotate it. Yeah, so basically, so rotate takes 90, 180, 270. So it basically takes all the the standard positions there, or rotations. And so so it has really robust support for that stuff. Pretty much it's just rotated, and it's integer scaled, and it has the overscan correction, and so it's it's pretty robust. I'm tilting my head here to see, but yeah, it's pretty fucking robust, man. It's this was a boatload of work, but I think it's worth it though. And so yeah, so basically you'd be able to put a big ass screen in an arcade cabinet, mounted vertically, play your games at 4:3 still, rotated. MAME supports it, this supports it, anything good supports it, so that's there. The other thing that that I went in and did, I can't really demonstrate it with this setup, but so the CRT stuff, basically, it was very important for me to support original arcade monitors and CRTs with Final Fight, and so and I'm doing that. But here's the thing though. So before this, before recently, basically to run it on an arcade monitor, you had to actually put in 384 by 224. And set CRT to true, and that would do it. But see, the problem with that though is that you had to go into like VM Maker or something and actually create a separate 384 by 224 mode, and that's just fucking bogus. I mean, like so basically, even though once again it was a big pain in the ass, I actually went in and looked into how Calamity does the super resolution stuff with Groovy MAME, and so Final Fight now actually supports super resolutions. And so basically the way you would activate it is, like if you already have a Groovy MAME set up with Final Fight, all you have to do is just say 2560 for the width and 240 for the height, and that'll take the standard Groovy MAME super resolution 2560 by 240, and it'll display the game with perfect image with your Groovy MAME setup. And that's all in there now. So yeah, I mean this thing man, it has pretty fucking robust support for outputs, man. I mean it really does support pretty much anything under the sun. So yeah, so CRTs are covered, any aspect ratio, LCD. I'm actually trying to find somebody who has a CRT that's 16:9, just because I just like to see it because I don't have anything to test it, because technically you could actually run this 16:9 at native resolution on a CRT. Like if Final Fight at its native resolution were to be a 16:9 game, it would be 512 by 224, and so you could actually do it. It would work. Yeah, I'd be very interested into being interested in seeing that. It would probably look pretty fucking awesome. But yeah, I mean I am actually, I mean CRTs still have their appeal. They really do. I mean, like when I've been messing around with this, when I was implementing the super resolution thing, I was just kind of playing through the game, and it looks so fucking good on a CRT, man. It really does. It looks really good. And also kind of like what we were talking about. I did put that in. So also with this version, it is. I'm trying it. I'm trying the floating point positioning on CRTs. It actually seems to work pretty well. I mean, I noticed sometimes you can see a little wonkiness on vertical movement of sprites, like basically maybe like when enemies are falling sometimes, just because, like I said, when you have a floating point position on graphics, but you have those like really limited number of scan lines. And your positioning just doesn't happen to really fall nicely on a scan line. It just doesn't look that good. But honestly though, like I think I was more worried about that effect than I should have been. Like when you actually display it, it really doesn't it really doesn't come off as even really noticeable. So it probably is fine. I could probably get away with the floating point position. I mean, it is nice because everything is so smooth, and there really doesn't seem to be a problem with floating point positioning along the horizontal axis. So. Yeah, so it's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, and that's the other thing too. Like if you hook it up to a CRT and play it, like the scrolling in this version is so fucking smooth compared to the original arcade. The original arcade is just so choppy comparatively. So I'm really happy with the way all that shit came out. It was just it was. I mean, really, it was a big pain in the ass. It fucking sucked, but it's done, and so I don't have to do it again. So that's so that's there it is. I'm probably going to do yeah, I'll probably do another video about some other stuff, but that was just kind of the video stuff that I've been working on. And so yeah, so you can grab that main build and you can do your save states without seeing like the nasty message.